Hello, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to another video. If you are new to this channel, my name is Frank Zhu, and I'm a college professor teaching sociology, history, and philosophy. I'm also an award-winning landscape photographer. Today, let's talk about the ego. The word ego was first used in the early 19th century, but it was the famous German psychologist Sigmund Freud who popularized it through his famous theory called psychoanalysis in the early 20th century. By the way, Freud himself did not use the word ego. It was an English translator who used it when translating his theory into English. According to Freud, the human mind was composed of three parts: the id, the superego, and the ego. The id represents our sexual impulse, the superego represents social values, and the ego represents our true identity. We develop our personalities as a result of the interactions and conflicts among those three parts. Since the publication of this theory, there have been debates about whether psychoanalysis is a valid theory. But in the view of social scientists, including Sigmund Freud, the ego is indeed a fundamental part of human psychology, which affects how we perceive ourselves and how we interact with the world around us. In philosophy, the concept of ego was not discussed until modern times. But a few early Western philosophers such as Socrates and Plato addressed the issues of self-awareness, personal integrity, and the soul. Socrates maintained that the true self was the soul, not the physical body, social status, or material gains. René Descartes is generally considered as the first modern philosopher to directly discuss the concept of ego. He famously declared, "Cogito ergo sum," a Latin term meaning, "I think, therefore I am." What he was arguing here was that the very fact that I'm thinking about whether I exist proves that I do exist. For him, the ego was the thinking subject which existed independently of the body. From a sociological perspective, the ego is not innate but developed through social interaction. It helps individuals interpret reality and adapt to their social life. It plays an important role in balancing personal desires with the social expectations. Sociologists study the ego in order to understand how individuals socialize and manage interpersonal relationships. In daily life, we use the word ego to refer to the conscious sense of I or self-identity. It is the subjective experience of being a unique individual, distinguishing you from others. It defines your personality and determines how you see yourself. It is a reflection of your emotions, pride, social values, life experiences, self-esteem, social status, social communication, etc. In a word, the ego is the image of yourself. So, by definition, the ego is a self-perception, which everyone has. However, some of us have a bigger ego than others. To put it another way, some of us tend to be self-centric, have a high belief in ourselves, our abilities, skills, place, and importance to other people in society. Many people believe that having a big ego is bad, and I think they have good reasons for believing so. First of all, a big ego can lead to arrogance, which is generally an unlikable character trait. With a big ego, you tend to display and reinforce that ego at every chance, which will lead to egoistic behavior. Such behavior is usually considered as unhealthy and a cause for relationship problems, pushing nice people away from you. In addition, when you seek to boost up your ego, you often do it at the expense of others. In order to feel good, you may use condescending or insulting language against others. Or you may diminish others' achievements in order to raise your own egos. You make others feel uncomfortable because you are too competitive. Finally, having a big ego can be self-deceiving. When you keep telling yourself, "I'm always right," you will never admit making mistakes, and you stop learning new things. In the long run, you will lag behind and feel more strongly to boost up your ego. Now you may wonder, how do I know if I have a big ego? Well, if you have difficulties seeing others' accomplishments and acknowledging different views, or if you are blind to your own flaws, you may have a big ego. So, how do you prevent yourself from having a big ego? First, be aware of the effects of your actions on other people. Doing things without considering others will make them despise you. Secondly, you should understand that when you want to boost up your ego, it may be due to a low self-image. What you actually need to do is to know how to improve and better yourself, instead of putting other people down. Thirdly, you should realize that there are better ways to feel good. For example, helping people in need or doing some good deeds is far better than bragging about yourself. Finally, it is very important to understand that a quick boost of your ego is a short-sighted way of feeling good about yourself. In the long term, it is your life experience, skills, reasoning abilities, and wisdom that raise you to a higher level. Now, having pointed out all the drawbacks of having a big ego, I must also point out that having a big ego is not always bad. In fact, having a strong ego can be beneficial to you. A strong ego can act as a powerful driver for success, confidence, and high performance. It can provide the self-belief which is often needed to take necessary risks, chase big goals, and navigate challenges. You must have realized that people with big egos often make quick decisions and become successful more quickly. More importantly, a strong ego enhances your self-confidence, allowing you to believe in your ability to overcome obstacles. To put it simply, there is nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself. Everybody does. Most successful people in business and politics, for example, have big egos. But of course, their egos are balanced and controlled. So, how do you boost your self-image in order to have a balanced ego? Based on my observations, research, and experience as a sociology professor, I think I can offer you some tips and strategies. Number 1, talk with yourself as if you would with a close friend. Be kind and avoid harsh self-criticism, especially when you think you have made mistakes. Number 2, stop negative thinking about yourself or about things you have done or things you will do. When you are faced with a difficult task, instead of thinking to yourself, I can't do it, tell yourself, I'm sure I can learn how to do it. Number 3, focus on your strengths and achievements. Identify what you are good at and celebrate every achievement you have made, no matter how trivial they are. Number 4, stop comparing yourself with other people who you think are better. You should recognize that everyone is different. Number 5, surround yourself with support. Spend time with people who treat you well and lift you up, rather than those who make you feel inferior. Number 6, engage yourself in self-reflection by keeping a diary to record your thoughts, feelings, and behavior in order to understand your life patterns and areas for growth so that you can make deliberate efforts. Number 7, create realistic goals. This is important because it builds a sense of accomplishment once you have achieved it. In a word, boosting your self-image to achieve a controlled and balanced ego involves conscious efforts and many activities. Well, I think that is all for today's video. But before I go, let me point out one more thing. The word ego should not be confused with another word, egoism. Egoism is the philosophical theory which claims that self-interest is the foundation of morality. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.